What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. As you can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about Randy. This is going to be the last video that I make about him, and I'm only making it because you guys continuously ask me how he's doing. If you want to follow me on any other social media platform, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, that's $2. It's only ever going to be $2. Except for the fact that I'm probably adding an extra tier for a reality show type of thing. Stay tuned for that. All of that is linked down below, as well as my vlog channel and my podcast and all of that stuff. All right, without further ado, let's kick this thing off. If you guys don't remember who Randy is, he is my ex-boyfriend from about 1 billion years ago. I filmed some videos with him, videos where we talk about our addiction and selling drugs and going to jail and just really battling all of the demons. And he came on the channel to share his life story. And a few months ago, he was sentenced to 7 years, a 7 to 10. So he will serve 7 years up to 10 years, depending on what his prison stay is like this time. And that is because he stole a lot of shit. And this is kind of a repetitive thing for him. He has struggled with addiction and theft. I guess he hasn't struggled with theft. The other people struggle with theft. Anyway, his entire criminal history is theft charges. And, he's stolen cars, he's stolen guns, dirt bikes, four-wheelers. He's broken into houses. He stole someone's dog one time from Michigan. So we've shared a lot of crazy stories over the years. But yeah, he was sentenced to 7 to 10 years. He was really struggling the last year or so that he was out with addiction. During that time, he was out for like 2 years, I believe, off parole and out for 2 years. And during that time, he had another son. If you don't know, he has a grown son. I love his son dearly. He's such a good kid. He's a good man. Oh God, it's crazy. He has a 19-year-old son, and I can't believe that he's so grown. So now that he has a baby, I think his baby is about a year and a half or so. That child is going to grow up, for potentially up to a decade without Randy around. And that's very unfortunate. But all of that is because of Randy. He made some very bad decisions and he is paying for them right now. So he decided, while he was struggling, to break into somebody's house and steal over 10,000 rounds of ammunition. Randy was able to break into this man's gun safe and he stole all of his guns, tons of firearms. And what do you do with a bunch of stolen anything? You sell them. So Randy was charged with and convicted of grand larceny, multiple counts of grand larceny. He was also charged with criminal possession of stolen property because he also stole a motorcycle that was caught on camera. Just all kinds of crazy things. So he stole a huge collection of guns, thousands of rounds of ammunition. He stole a motorcycle and he also stole a car. So he was charged with, I guess it was a friend's car or something, but he was charged with unauthorized use. The case is actually kind of crazy. The state of New York made a lot of errors when prosecuting this case, but because of Randy's criminal history, no one really cared. The prosecution didn't have a lot of evidence. They went on, one person's statement that Randy did it, in terms of the firearms and the rounds and all of that. He wasn't booked in properly. There's a lot of discrepancies with how they handled this case. But again, when you're a career criminal, a lifelong criminal, and your entire record is, stealing shit and breaking into people's houses, stealing guns and doing drugs and all that stuff, then the judge that also has known him forever is not going to be like, okay, well, maybe he didn't do it. The judge is going to be like, he probably did it. And that's what sucks. I talked to Randy a lot last year while he was in county jail trying to fight his case. It took him a lot to accept the fact that he is going to have to serve all of this time in prison. This is going to be the longest bid that he does. Up until this point, the longest stretch that he did, I believe, was 5 years straight. Before that, 3 years. Before that, 2 years. Before that, a year. Like, he is literally, he's 37 years old and he has spent more time incarcerated than he's spent on the street. And that is just the heartbreaking reality for so many people. This does not just affect Randy. This affects his family. This affects his sons. And that is what I'm sad about. Randy can do time. He's fine. You know, he's institutionalized, unfortunately. He knew the consequences of his actions. He's been doing it his entire life. And he's 37 years old. The only comfort that his family has is knowing that he's probably safer in prison than he was on the street. He overdosed many, many times in the last 2 years. If you guys were watching my content with a former friend of mine, we both tried to help Randy get into treatment. He was just really, really struggling. And at the end of the day, he didn't want it, you know? So it was over 2 years ago now that I kind of just had to take a step back. And of course, you guys know everything that I was going through. So, you know, there's nothing I could do. You can't force somebody to get sober. You can't force somebody to not break the law and break into people's houses and just get a regular job and be a father. You can't force someone to do those things. I really hope that this is the last time that Randy gets in trouble with the law. Randy and I were friends far past our breakup, as you guys know. I've known him my whole life. We didn't have a falling out or anything. I just don't want to communicate with any of my exes or ex-friends. No one is making parole with me. And that's just kind of where I'm at in my healing journey, is that if you're an ex, I have no reason to talk to you. You know, we don't have kids together. I believed for a long time that I could be friends with my exes, but that always ends up being a very one-sided relationship. It always ends up me helping them and, you know, loaning money or whatever it is. I also kind of think that it's a little disrespectful to Burner. You know, I don't want him to feel any type of way about me communicating with my exes, but the main reason why I am not going to communicate with somebody that I don't have a child with is really just for my own peace of mind. I don't think there's anything wrong. There doesn't have to be a huge falling out for you to no longer be friends with somebody. And I don't think there's anything wrong with me taking a step back and saying I don't want to communicate with you anymore. I wish you all the best in the world. And I hope you stay sober and you get out of prison and you do, unbelievable things. I hope he is wildly successful when he gets out. I truly wish all the best for him, but I am choosing myself. I'm choosing my family. I'm choosing my relationship first and foremost and always. So yeah, I will never talk to him again. I will never communicate with him, but I wish him all the best in the world. Over the years on this channel, you guys have seen me bring on a lot of guests, people that sold drugs for me, people that I sold drugs to, my ex-boyfriend, Randy, some friends that I lost along the way and then found again, like my good friend Jamie Ballard. I love her and her wife dearly. They will always be in my life. Shout out to you guys. I love you. But you guys have seen a lot of people come on the channel, and at the end of the day, I finally have my fresh start, and a clean break is just what's best. You know what I mean? I need to focus on finding friends that are maybe not in the criminal world. That would probably be good for me. And I need to not go back to those same negative circles. I was around a lot of people over the years, over the past decade, that would just sit around and talk about other people, and people that were very negative, that didn't have a lot of things going on in their life. But I was told, hey, you have to bring your people with you. Well, some of them don't want to see you at the top. So how can you bring someone with you that is jealous of you, that has less going on than you, that is drilling holes in the boat that you're trying to row? You can't, I'm not saying that any of that applies to Randy. I don't know. All I know is that this is his situation, and I'm choosing me. So much has happened since I met Randy. I met him when I was 16 or 17. So much has happened. And I know the internet likes to, try to rev up drama or say that, we should hate each other for X, Y, and Z. We don't. We won't ever talk again, but I don't hate him and he doesn't hate me, and it's just a clean break. And he needs to focus on how he's going to get out of prison and stay sober and get out of the prison world and be a father to his son. And I need to focus on my family. Prison is filled with people that are addicts and struggled. They're very smart people, very funny people, very kind people, and addiction, brought them to where they're at. It is no different for Randy. While he's locked up, his family can talk to him, and he's clear and he's not high, and they're not afraid for him. So I think that everything happens for a reason, and I also believe there's a silver lining to everything. So yeah, that is the end of that update. I wish it was happier news. I wish I could tell you guys that he is a CEO or something, or started his own brand or something. And unfortunately, that's just not the news. It's unfortunate that you guys have met so many people over the years that have, gone to prison and struggled with addiction. And we all have high hopes for them that they're going to stay out of prison and stay sober and be the most successful that they possibly can be. and we're all cheerleading for them. And then unfortunately, they fall back into addiction and they go back to prison. And that is just the reality of how hard it is to get out of the system once you're in it. That's the reality of addiction. It is very, very hard to break away from addiction and stay sober, whatever that means to you, and get out of a life of crime. It's incredibly hard. So if you take nothing else from this video, please take the fact that we have to change the prison system. You know, getting out and being labeled a felon and being told you can't get a job and you can't work and you can't get housing or assistance or any of that, that creates all of these barriers. And people are just like, how am I supposed to live? I have to eat, you know, and unfortunately, they resort to shit like this. And with addiction starts and stops at pain. Focusing on mental health treatment, whether you're incarcerated or not, needs to be a priority in this country. It is something that is severely lacking, and I could, get on a soapbox for days and talk about this. But this channel has, shown you guys firsthand how hard it is to get out of prison and stay out of prison. It shouldn't be rare for someone to get out of prison and stay sober and get their child out of state custody and, not return to prison. It should not be this hard. All right, you guys, I'm going to end today's video here. As always, I love you. Stay safe. Stay in recovery, whatever that looks like to you, because there is no wrong way to recover. Try not to break the fucking law, okay? Love you guys.